So here at Fully Charged, I'm talking to Peter Vella from Electric Autonomy. And we had some interesting discussions because we talked about Volkswagen. And you live in Canada, you went through Dieselgate, but you also went to Frankfurt and heard the whole story of Volkswagen. What did you think of Volkswagen after Dieselgate?
Immediately after Dieselgate, I was just appalled. I couldn't believe that, there's been recalls in the history of automobiles, but not something that has actually been implanted to do the wrong thing.
So you had a grudge, but then you went to Frankfurt, and then what did you do?
I went to Frankfurt, and I was lucky enough to be there for press day. And because Angela Merkel was doing a speech, I had the Volkswagen booth to myself, and I got to speak at length to people from Volkswagen. And I had the luxury of asking the question, why should I forgive you? And they went through quite carefully and showed me how the company has changed. But the really important thing that I wanted to know was what were their plans for the future in terms of electric vehicles? And the number I wanted to know was, the Zwickau factory, how many cars per day? And they said 1,500.
1,500 cars per day. Okay, so that is basically about 10,000 to week, about 500,000 a year. So that's a serious number. That's about the same as Tesla does.
That's right. And the interesting thing was, and I said, so is that just Europe? And they said, no, the Chattanooga factory is going to be able to do numbers like that, and the China factory is going to be able to do numbers like that. Well, that is...
So they're restructuring their company now to about, they're rebuilding 20 factories of their 60 to be completely electric, and they intend to do millions of them. I mean, I know they can manufacture, and I know they are all serious. That's I know this, but do they have the batteries? I mean, the batteries, of course, will be the thing.
Well, I think that when something gets to that size, their buying power is really something to watch for. I'm sure Elon Musk could tell us how difficult it was for him to get a door handle when he first started because of the numbers. Yeah. If he said, I'm producing 1,500 cars a day, he would have had it in a moment.
We both looked at the panel where all these famous YouTubers were discussing, and Ben from Technonics was Chelsea was very reasonable, Den was very reasonable, but Hyperchange and now we're very negative about Volkswagen and about the current industry and their ability to change. What is your take?
My take is that how we get to electric vehicles, like Dieselgate was awful, but when we look at history of the electric vehicle, Dieselgate will be one of the major changes because the regular legacy makers don't have still yet a big reason for them to spend the kind of money. Volkswagen has no choice. They had to settle $2 billion. They built a charging system. And
that is the biggest nationwide charging system, and it goes from 400 to 800, and it will go to 2,000 places. So that's the only independent big charging station network.
One of the brilliant things about Tesla was, we're not just going to make cars and not give you a gas station like Henry Ford did. We're going to give you the car, and we're going to give you the energy. And Volkswagen is going to do that as well. Because to buy the car and not have a charging system is folly, really.
Well, they're doing in Europe the same. I mean, we also have the European system, that kind of stuff. Why? What do people think here in America? Is there a big debate if the current in this whole EV world of North America? What do they think of the traditional car manufacturers? Are they part of the problem, part of the solution?
I think that a lot of people here still have a brand loyalty to American companies and to certain companies. There's people who will still say, I buy a Ford forever. So when there's the Ford Mustang E, there is a certain amount of people that will buy it because it's a Ford. They can buy it down the street. They have a certain confidence in that in terms of the build quality or whatever. But then again, look at the Tesla phenomenon.
Is Tesla not completely dominating everything?
Well, and you think that in North America, car companies have gone down, not up. Saturn, gone. Hummer, gone. Pontiac,
hey,
gone.
Let me tell you something new about Hummer. You know what they announced today?
Yes, I think it's on the Super Bowl. For those in Europe who don't know the Super Bowl, it is the craziest event in North America by far. It is Mardi Gras on acid. But anyway.
And the Mardi Gras you don't know, but it's hundreds of millions of Americans looking at a bunch of American football players with the most expensive advertising. And what will GM do as advertisement?
Yes, they're going to have the Hummer introduced as an electric vehicle, which is really a great turnaround because that was probably one of the highest polluting vehicles becoming one of the lowest. And so I think the North American manufacturers are getting it, but out here is one Chevy Bolt, and the people that are telling us about it came from a pickup truck symposium, and they don't know their car. So they've got an incredible job to educate their dealers, which of course are independent. Like the dealer runs his shop, and if he doesn't think he's going to get money back from fixing this car, it's going to be a long time before GM gets the dealership on board to get out and sell the car. So
they need to have more pain before they can get more gain. And the fact is, they need more competition. Next to Tesla, we need more competition. And if Volkswagen is it, fine. If they fail, also fine. But we need a lot of more companies on board than only Tesla. Tesla, brilliant. I drive it every day. I love it. But we need more of them.
And just around the corner here, you can't see it, is the General Motors EV1.
Yeah, let's see it. I basically, yeah, that is
mistakes in the automotive industry. And so General Motors can do it. They've created good things in their day, and then they're surprised when people buy their good products. And it's up to them now to create the product, but to deliver and to make the factories, and again I refer to Volkswagen here, to make the factory that's going to make enough so that it's on the lot, so someone could go down and say, I want to buy a car. I don't want to wait 6 months. I don't want this trouble or that trouble. And I want to buy it for a lease that comes with mass production. And until the Americans make mass production, they're not in the game.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Coming from Canada, a word of wisdom and in between, and also somebody who basically looks at the European world, and Volkswagen is quite a company to deal with. Thanks.
Thanks you.